Alright, so the last time we were here, things were a little rough. There was a lot. Yeah, sure, Koi. It is a lot like the Resident Evil remakes. So the last time we were here, we were having a lot of trouble with technical issues. So I just decided, fuck it. I'm just gonna play the whole game again, like from the start. I fixed the tech issues, and I got to actually explore the opening areas, which is why this side. Hi Dash. So I was just explaining to Corty. I decided to just play the game again from the start on my own time. So that's why this save file is an extra 2 hours longer than the other ones. It turns out, and please try to act surprised when I say this, I'm stupid. And when they said, hey, why don't you try exploring the flooded area? They didn't mean the beach where we found Alan. What they actually meant is that there was an inaccessible left side to the park. So, like, there's a giant fucking gameplay only area. And we went through there. Sorry, I went through there and I spent 2 hours solving puzzles and fighting enemies. So yeah, there was just this huge area. It was crazy. Like it was 100% gameplay focused. Like there was no story, except for we found a house set up by the FBC where they were experimenting with recreating the rituals that Alan does, where you like set up dolls on these like chalk line drawings in order to like force things to happen. And do you remember I said it was weird that we don't get any charms during Saga's section? I found fucking 4 charms while I was over there. I had just missed a huge chunk of the fucking gameplay. Yeah. So we're back here. I also explored Alan's area a lot more thoroughly. It turns out you can actually find Tim Breaker upstairs in the New York streets. We had went right at one point, and he was actually to the left. And you have the exact same conversation with him. And then I found him again in the sewers, and you have a second conversation. And his purpose is that if you find him, he marks down where all of the collectibles are in that particular map. Yes, yes, you could say he breaks things on a quantum level, Courtney, which is a joke that will not make any sense to you.
Alan Wake.
So, speaking of which, I don't know if I have the.
Alan Wake.
Oh, yeah. I also know that guy. You don't want to go near that guy. Jim will fix it, but he'll also do something else, and you're not a fan of the second thing.
Wake.
Alright, so we have a puzzle. The last time we stopped, I would hope not, if we're talking about the same person. Anyway, so we have a puzzle over here that last time I stopped because I couldn't figure it out, and it turns out the solution was actually very simple, which is a good indication of how fucking tired I was. Also, I figured out what these guys' deal is. If you point the light at them and they start to disappear, you're done. But if they stay solid, then you will have to use the boost to get rid of them.
Story to tell.
So I can't get in here, but if I switch to the FBI and rewrite the scene, now I can get inside this little cubby hole. Station. Why did I call it a cubby hole? It's a fucking. Never mind. Yeah, you can find his missing tape recorder. There is something we're going to have to watch out for, though. The last patch fixed some things, but it also added in a really, really bad bug, which is that sometimes certain objects, when you examine them, your controls stop working, and you can't back out of the examining it. And the only thing you can do is load up a save. Apparently they're working on a hotfix for it. But yeah, so let's change the scene again. And what we want is Murder Cult.
The whole hole had changed into the murder cult's hideout.
This is what I missed, is I didn't notice the echo. So if I back up enough... No, get closer.
The Fed had witnessed something here that made him run scared. Whether
Oh, hold on. Subtitles.
the summoning ritual had been a bona fide supernatural event or the mass psychosis of stark raving lunatics, it didn't change the facts. The cult was messing with things no one should mess with.
The ritual was a vital part of the story, the key to reaching the murder site. The cultists were close now, a dark presence rising from the depths.
So now we have a new thing we can use called Ritual, and we can use that at the tunnel, the collapsed tunnel, in order to advance. So let me...
This new plot beat would carry me deeper into the story.
Let's see what this area looks like with the summoning ritual.
This was dark, but the story had to be dark.
I don't know, I don't know, Alan. You could lighten it up a little bit. All right, nothing in there for me. And no lock. Oh, is that a container? No, it is not.
Alan Wake. Alan Wake.
Hey, Henry. Yep, we're a few hours into Alan Wake 2. We're trying to navigate our way through the dark waves. Oh, that's an enemy. Advanced Wars? I don't even own that game. Wow. Where did you get that idea? Okay, let's take a painkiller. I'm not going to make the joke. I'm sure I made it already. Alright, so now that we've used that plot point, this area has changed so that we can get through this fenced area.
Wake. You won't drown here.
Oh, shit. What does that do, Corty? Does it replace the enemies with toilets? So let's put this light in here. Now this is accessible. So there is supposedly a word of power around here, and I think I remember how to get it, actually. I think it's on the other side. So these are what the main upgrade for Alan is. You can find hidden symbols that are words of power, and they give him permanent upgrades. There it is. Word of gun. No worries, Corty. See ya. Alright, so if I can upgrade the roulette. Sorry, I can upgrade it with roulette, so now there is a 10% chance whenever I fire the revolver that it will not expend a bullet. Which, when you've only got 8, is pretty helpful. Alright, now I'm gonna just take this light. Oh, wait, no. That is a supply box. Oh, it's finding the prompt because they're both X. There we go. That's what I want. It's trying to steal the light at the same time. I know. Arx Fatalis 1, Alan Wake 0. I got really good, Henry, at writing words while running in that game. Which is weird because, like, the the writing doesn't follow you as you're running, so like it gets left behind, which makes it much harder to actually figure out where to draw. But I've managed to get decent at it, and I was using that to basically turn it into a sprint button by casting the speed spell. Alright, so there's another word of power. Word of action. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Alright, increases damage to enemies in close proximity. Reduce damage from projectiles. Make an island harder to detect. I'm just going to go with this, because I've almost fully upgraded it. So I believe I've got everything here. Yeah. Before I proceed, I'm going to quickly use the save point just to keep the progress, because I'm a little paranoid about a bug where... So the last patch added in a bug where if you examine an object, there is a chance, and it seems to be certain objects are much more likely, that you will just not be able to back out of it. Like, you literally can't stop examining it. And the exit is gone. The exit was right there. It has literally disappeared because of the scene I changed. So never mind, we're going forward anyway. There's probably a save point literally in the next room. Oh, I bet there is. Oh, I bet there fucking is. No? Not so far. Okay. Oh, there's another echo we can use.
Turns out the cultists weren't the only ones using the tunnels. Hidden graffiti signs marked secret routes. I kept hearing whispers around burn barrels of an underground society of mystic outsiders with hidden knowledge.
Oh god.
Typical New York.
It's the fucking hidden ones from goddamn Indigo Prophecy. Yeah, so any of the shadow people you see can be a real enemy. So if they fade away with just a flashlight, that's fine, they're gone. But others are more solid. Alright, I'm not going to worry about them for the second. Let's see if we can get any supplies out of here. Nope, nothing. There is... Oh man, I can't wait for Pony's stream of Shadow the Hedgehog. Oh shit. Oh god. I got murked. Where's that gonna put me? Because I'm not sure. Oh, so yeah, here's the game over screen, because we hadn't seen it. I can't wait for Pony to stream Shadow the Hedgehog and have to talk around that game's absurdly racist terminology, or at least racist sounding. It sounds real bad. Okay, yeah, it's immediately after me getting the echo, so that's fine. Sprint past these guys, grab the stuff, and I'll be done in a second. Oh, they're trying to surround me.
Using the words.
Fuck, I need to retreat.
The story will go on forever.
Alright, I need to actually use a bigger healing item. Because I've been avoiding it for a while now. Yes, Henry. They're called the... Oh god, I hate even saying it. The aliens are called the Black Arms. And their leader is called Black Doom. And the first level, they show up and they tell Shadow to kill cops. I'm not making any of that up. There's a reason why fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Changes every instance of the word black to dark. Alright, so I haven't... Oh, there's bullets over there. I should grab those, because I'm going to need them. Yeah, Chibi is not wrong. Your movement speed is pretty slow in this. Yeah, it's on the other side. But I'm going to need every bullet I can get, because I'm down to... I mean, 15's not the worst, but it's still not great after you saw that one fight. There we go. Nice. I found a whole 2 bullets. Or 3, whatever. Not a lot. Now, for this next area, there's just the Echo. There's the lockers to check. I should always check the lockers, because it turns out that the contents is actually randomized. Like, you don't always get the same item. And sometimes you get nothing. I assume it's doing a similar thing to Resident Evil 4, where it's like, it has like a loot table, and it gives you what it thinks you need at the moment.
Turns out the cultists weren't the only ones using the tunnel.
Oh shit.
Hidden graffiti signs marked whispers around burn barrels, an underground society of mystic outsiders with hidden knowledge.
Alright, nothing in there.
Typical New York.
Wait.
Oh, gotta be careful, because when you're in the plot room... I'll show that off to Henry, actually, because he hasn't seen it before, when I get a chance. But right now it's not safe, because it doesn't pause the game. Alright, am I safe? Okay, so, Henry. You remember how in Fable 3, if you paused the game, it put you inside of, like, a special room that was just for you? And you could do this anytime? Yeah, well, you have a regular pause menu in this game, but you also have the writer's room. Where you can, like, review, you can change things, you can do your upgrades, and this can be done at any time. And the other character, Saga, has her own version with the Mind Place, although it's really annoying that she calls it that, because it's like, it's just a Mind Palace, and she even says it's just a Mind Palace, but she calls it the Mind Place. So, for Saga, it's just her mind place. She is just imagining a room in her head that helps her, like, do her crime solving. For Alan, he's trapped in the writer's room. This is his actual body. and he has been stuck in the dark place ever since the end of the first game. He can't get out, and he is projecting his body out through cracks in reality, and that's how he's able to interact with everyone and like the main world. So this version that we're controlling right here is just an astral projection. Hi Dash. Yeah, I think it's working now. It was my router. It just went to shit, and now it's back, and I just have to hope it stays that way. I've completely forgotten what I was talking about. Anyway, let's just move on. So there is another word of power apparently nearby. Oh, well, shit, it's right there. There we are. Word of fix. What does that get us? Okay, so we've maxed out HP. Increase the amount from save point. This, we get them so frequently now, I almost feel like this would be worth it, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go with this. Because this will be reliable for forever. Welcome back, Henry. Yep, seems to be working. I don't remember what it was I was saying last time, but I guess I'll just mention this. So, Henry, these are our save points. We have a save room. We have coffee thermos. They've been repurposed from a shitty collectible in the first game to your save point. And we also have the shoebox, which is our item box. Because in the first game they established a rule that anything put in a shoebox is immune to being wiped out of history by the darkness. Oh yes, so this is Alan's writing room. This is the real Alan. He has been trapped in here for 13 years. Ever since the end of the first game, where he sacrificed himself in order to get his wife out of the dark place. Now he's been stuck there. And he can manipulate the dark place because it feeds on creativity and it makes, like, the imaginary real. So he's been, like, he's been making a plot board, he's been, like, writing scripts, and he thinks if he gets just the right script, he can invent a story that will allow him to escape. And so this Alan is just essentially an astral projection. It's him, like, pushing his way out through cracks in reality in the hopes of finally being able to escape. So we got that word of power, but there is a box there and a locked door, which I think I can just unlock from this side. Yep. So this shortcuts us back to where the main area. So what's over here? Oh, nice. So we got a bunch of flares, and I can't pick everything up. Because I need to actually start using this item box, because I've been avoiding it for a while now. So I don't need both trauma packs, so let's put that away. I'll keep the one large one. And trauma packs. There we go. I don't need all these extra batteries. There we go. Now we're good. Another thing to mention, Henry, is that even his clothes and his gun and his flashlight are made out of darkness. Like, he literally crafted all of them. Because, like, nothing's real in this place. It's all just, like, hazy reflections of, like, a people's imaginations. So the only thing to do now is there is a word of power down at the end of that tunnel. And then we need to go to the collapse tunnel and use the ritual scene tag in order to change it. So to give some context on that, Henry, when you come across a scene with Alan's story, you can add plot threads to it, and that changes the scene and makes it refresh the room with new, like, assets and ideas. And Saga's version of that is she has just actual crime scenes to investigate and, like, make connections between different pieces of evidence. So, like, this is a scene, actually. So what happens if I
had a new idea, a new story thread.
So I can remove the FBI agent.
Things clicked into place. The story rang true. I was making progress.
Now, can I add... No. Okay, so that's how they do it, is they don't let you use every tag with every scene, because that would get out of control. They would have to make like 5 different versions of every crime scene. And it looks like I do need the FBI agent one, because I'm looking for a train. There it is.
The story was affecting the scene.
So the word of power is here. Alright, knockback of Alan's shotgun, step. It's 2 upgrades for weapons I don't have yet, so we're going to stick with this. 15% chance of not consuming bullets. Can I grab the light source from here? I can, but then there's a wall behind me, so no, I do have to use it. The fact those even drop is so odd. What do you mean, Henry? What drops? Oh, right. Well, the reason why is because they're just upgrades. So, like, you're just choosing one of 3 upgrades for that particular type of word. Well, chances are you'll have them before long. It's kind of funny, because, like, in the first game, like, you got access to pretty much every kind of weapon before you even got to the halfway point, because you didn't get to keep any of them. They were just disposable tools that you would pick up and use as you find them. Whereas in this game, it's much more like survival horror, build up an arsenal. So, like, they're dishing out things like that, like, slowly over time. So now we have the new scene, so we're going to change the collapsed tunnel to summoning ritual. And now the tunnel is open, so we can get out of here.
The dark presence. Fuck!
Yep, nope, just run. This shit will kill you. Luckily, it can't follow us into the Sea of Havens.
I couldn't hear the dark presence. It was gone. The tunnel was open now. I could get through.
So the Dark Presence is... It's a malevolent entity that exists within this location that can feed on people's creativity, and it tries to engineer its own escape from the Dark Place by forcing creative people to write a story for it. And it did that to Alan in the first game. And he thought he killed it, or at least he killed whatever form it was taking in the real world, but clearly it still exists here.
The dark presence. I had seen it before. I remembered now. It was always out there, hunting me.
To respond to what you said, Henry, yes. Not even just the Dark Place, like, in locations that are, like, fractured, like, parts of reality that are, like, rub up against the Dark Place, such as Cauldron Lake, you can make things real. But there are rules. It has to follow storytelling conventions. It has to be exciting, there has to be stakes. So he's tried that, Henry, and it doesn't work. If there's no risk, if there's no stakes are involved, then he doesn't get what he wants. He gets to manipulate things, but he can't just do whatever he wants. He has to be a writer. He can't be a fan fiction writer.
Something had shifted. I felt an overwhelming closeness to home.
So, like, the crux of the first game is that he basically got forced to write a story that would allow the Dark Presence to escape. And in his lucid state, he was able to engineer the story just enough that he was given a fighting chance.
I'm Saga Anderson, FBI.
This is Alan Wake. I'm trapped here.
So that's the other playable character, Saga.
Cauldron Lake. How are you?
I'm trying to escape. I'm making progress, but I'm in danger. The Dark Presence. Help me.
So, Henry,
Please, help me.
it can take many forms, the whole creativity thing. It doesn't have to be a writer. For example,
sense it.
in the 70s, the Anderson brothers had a rock band called the Old Gods of Asgard, and they were so awesome. Their rock was so cool, it powered the Dark Presence.
Outside.
And they had a fucking final showdown on their stage with rock music playing as they fought it off.
Out there. Waiting for me.
It is Tenacious D. It is exactly that. Imagine the Tenacious D members, but 70 years old, and the Dark Presence is still scared of them. So this, for context, this is a guy who was in the first game. He was an FBI agent who was hounding Alan for some reason. He had been having, like, dreams and premonitions, and he believed he was going to die because of Alan's actions. Well, he was kind of right. Just like, wow, he really saw that coming way off. But he disappeared during the events of the first game, and the start of this game is he reappears after 13 years and is ritualistically murdered at the start of the game. And his murder and the ritual seems to be a catalyst for, like, making the two worlds merge together. So, like, Saga Anderson has already examined this body in the real world. But it's also here in the Dark Place.
Who was writing who? Who was writing this poem? Me? No.
So, remember I mentioned a bug where I can't stop examining stuff? I can't back out of this. I'm stuck. Which means my only choice is to fucking load up a goddamn save. Alright, so now we need to go back up to Fake, New York, and get to the apartment building where Alan and his wife lived.
Stepping to the murder site, I'd felt it hanging in the air. A meaning, the violent emotion of the act, like a cloud of wrath. The dead.
The coffee shop lady, Rose, is still around in the second game, but she got, like, messed up by the Dark Presence. Like, it damaged her mind, and now she talks about events that haven't happened yet.
Level, overlapping with your meaningless existence.
Like, she meets Saga, the FBI agent, and is like, oh, it's so sad that your daughter drowned. And she's like, I don't even know you. What the fuck are you talking about? And then later she gets a phone call from her husband. It's like, yeah, so our daughter slipped in the shower and almost drowned, but she's fine. Alright, there's something here. So yeah, we've got, like, the luminous ink, and it directs you towards things like this, which I might already have. Oh my god, it's the same one that I got earlier. I didn't have to run all the way over there. Well, shit. Whatever.
station had changed. I was closer now.
So let's take this light with us, just because we can never have too many of them. And now we're outside in not New York.
Parliament Tower. Our home in New York. Was I really this close to being home? Going up to our apartment? Would I be home? Or was this just an echo of the real thing?
I think
Even
you know
then,
the answer to
Murder's
that,
Site
Alan.
had brought me one step closer to escape.
So there's the point of interest where Tim Breaker is. Let's go meet Tim Breaker. Let's go give him an update on what's happening. I believe if I cut through here, I can get to him in like a minute.
Wake.
Oh, I was not expecting this to go down.
Wake.
Oh, nope, this is the right place. I have to head around to the right.
Wake.
There he is, in that room over there. And the way you find him is that he hums to himself, so you can actually, like, hear him from a distance. I think an enemy was about to hit me in the back of the head there. Hey, Tim. You got anything for me? No? Nothing to say? Alan, sorry. Henry, you might recognize him. This is the main character of Quantum Break. They literally brought him back and just... It's the same actor. And they're like, yeah, he's now Tim Breaker because we don't own his character in Quantum Break. And he has dreams of other realities where he has a different name. It's their whole thing. Like, they don't care if they don't own the rights to their characters anymore. They'll just change. They'll just file off the serial number. Like, one of the first things that happens in this area is you go down a corner. Yeah, it is. You go down a corner and you meet Alex Casey, who is the fictional detective in all of Alan Wake's books, who is very clearly just Max Payne. And he's wearing Max Payne's outfit. It's like, they don't give a shit. It's my character. I made him. Alright, so there's nothing out here for me to do, so let's head into the towers. In fact, this is him right now,
He
talking.
was a victim. The cult, using his words. Or maybe he was the monster behind it all. Either way, Alice Wake, his ex, she knew things. It was there in her art for all to see. A cry for help. The darkness she'd witnessed. And that put her in danger.
Was Alice here? In the story?
Alright, nothing to do for my supplies. Couldn't move them around. Am I really going to do the shuffle thing? Oh. Okay. I was told about the jump scares. I was not expecting any of them to actually get me though.
Alice's photo equipment. Set to go off when the door opens.
The patch that added in that bug, the main thing it does is it gives you two new options to reduce those jump scares. It makes them go in slow motion, and it makes them silent if you choose. Because apparently a lot of people were not happy about them.
Get out! Leave me alone!
Alice! Alice!
Oh, I'm scared to examine anything. Thank you for your exhibit posters. It is, yes. Well, that's the thing,
This
Henry.
is the
Like,
door to my study.
Alan Wake
where I
1
wrote my
and
books.
2, they are
This
double A
symbol wasn't here
games.
before.
Like, 2 has Epic Games funding, which is the only reason it's able to look this good. But this is not like a triple A game. It does not have the same kind of expectations to it. Plus, it helps that the developers finish. So, like, there are no video game conventions over there. They are allowed to do whatever the fuck they want.
Alice's video camera. No memory card inside.
Alright, video art dock on screen. Focal point of the dark place. Yeah, it is. And like it becomes more obvious over time, Henry, because there are so many Finnish characters in the later games. Like Control has Artie the janitor, who's also in this. There's a random like tour guide and his brother who are both Finnish. Saga, her family's from Sweden. Like it's all over the place.
Part 1. What was Alice working on?
Most people don't know it just because they use American actors. Like I think that's the only reason. Is like they use American actors for all their stuff. It's kind of like Quantic Dreams, and I hate that I made that comparison, but it's a fair one because you would not immediately assume they were French because all their games are set in America.
When I was younger, photography was everything to me. I moved to New York thinking I'd make it as an artist. And then I met Alan. We had a good thing. We were both dedicated by our creative ambitions. The only difference was that Alan's work made money. He brought me work when he could. I took his promo shots, created covers for his books. I'm sure he forced his publisher into it. I was taking photos, just not my photos. And that gnawed at me. Things got complicated sometimes, but that's life, right? We loved each other. Then Alan hit a block. I brought out a meaner side of him. One I didn't like. I set up a trip to see a doctor in Washington. I didn't tell him until we got there. We argued. Things went wrong. And he was just gone. Drowned, allegedly. It's easy for people to think it was my fault. Hell, I do too sometimes.
What she's not mentioning is that she also vanished off the face of the earth for a full week.
I started hearing noises in the night. Typewriter keys clacking. Voices. Alan was back. Haunting me.
Nope. I don't know if Barry ever talked to her, because Barry knows the full story. He knew exactly what happened.
Then it got violent.
But her and Barry never got along.
It was Alan.
Hi, Chibi. We got out of the sewer tunnels,
I'm calling this exhibit the Dark Place.
and now we've got back to our apartment.
Alice. Scratch was terrorizing her. Why?
Alright, so, some context, Henry, and Chibi. There was a spin-off game called Alan Wake's American Nightmare. It was an XBLA game. It was much more arcadey and action-focused. And in that, there is a serial killer doppelganger called Mr. Scratch. You see him at the end of the first game, and he's a duplicate of Alan, but evil. And he is running around the country, indiscriminately killing people and having a good time. Like, he's actually really funny as a character, because, like, he just loves being an asshole. But that game's, like, arguably non-canon, so, like, they're keeping the idea of Mr. Scratch, but I don't know if he's going to be anything like the party animal from American Nightmare. If that's him, then the answer's no.
I sat in the writer's room and wrote a story. Initiation. To project myself through the dark place, to look for a way out. The story had brought me here, brought me nowhere. Looped me back. I was writing the story. And in the story, I now stepped into the writer's room. But there was no one here writing.
Oh, fuck off. I've disabled that fucking dude. I've turned on Do Not Disturb so many times, and it still does it. I have to re-enable that every single time I boot the game, because Epic is the worst. I know, Chibi, I know. It's like almost live action. You could. Couldn't even finish the joke. So I think we're switching back to Saga. Who I never realized before, somehow, but her last name is the same as the fucking rock guys I mentioned. She's also an Anderson. But as far as I know, no relation.
Okay, let's recap what you've told us so far, Alan. For the past 13 years, you've been trapped in a nightmare dimension called the Dark Place.
Yeah.
It's like New York, but it's not New York. And can be reached from the bottom of Cauldron Lake, but it's not really under the lake. And after all this time, you've managed to get out.
Yeah.
But so has your evil doppelganger. Mr. Scratch? Or is it the Dark Presence?
Both. It's interchangeable. He's Scratch when he looks like me, but he can change into this other form.
And Scratch, the Dark Presence, wants to rewrite the world in his own image.
Which would be in your image, as he looks just like you.
And turn the world into a fucking nightmare.
During Deerfest, which is scheduled to take place in a couple of days. You got out of the Dark Place by writing a novel, the pages we've been finding. But your double edited it into a horror story that's now changing reality, taking over people, making them crazy, bringing the Dark Place to Bright Falls.
Yes, fiction coming in contact with the dark place can change reality. The story is coming true, soaking into everything like darkness when night falls. But last time it...
This will be back in 2010.
It does.
Yes, last time it didn't happen all at once. The story came true bit by bit as it unfolded. And that dark presence was still bound to the lake. I stopped it before it got the ending it wanted. Before it broke free. Based on that, there's still time.
Which brings us to your magical light switch.
The clicker. Magical doesn't quite cover it. Scratch wants it to bring about his ending. That can't happen. If I can get the clicker, I can send him back to the dark place, make all this shit go away. Look, I know it's batshit crazy. My memory is full of holes, and I'm not sure how much I can trust. It's like a half-forgotten dream.
It reminds me of like any time I've ever tried to explain Metal Gear lore, and it's like, man, this shit sounds stupid. It's like, that's because it is.
Mr. Wake,
So,
Alan.
what you're not seeing, Henry, is that
we
Saga
see
and
Sarah
him
batshit
have already
crazy in
fought
the past
monsters.
24 hours.
They've already killed
What
multiple
I want to
Taken.
know is, why am I? Why are we written into the story?
I think I saw you. Or a vision of you in the dark place. I think you helped me reach out and escape somehow. With that in the story, Scratch would have edited it to get to you. To hurt you. We are all in danger.
Casey and Saga actually have a conversation early in the game when they encounter the first monster, and they're like, yeah, so we could blame this on, like, gas fumes or something, but we both know that's not true. This is supernatural. So let's just roll with it.
It's insane. And there's so much of it. Have you ever heard of the Cult of the Tree?
Creepy bunch. In the habit of wearing deer masks, performing murder rituals, victims turning into monsters possessed by darkness, possibly inspired by a horror story written by a certain author. Ring any bells?
The cult. Yes. Yes. They have the clicker.
Oh, so now that we're here, actually, Alan, I can show you this, Henry. This is Saga's mind place. I hate calling it that. It's the Mind Palace. But it's her version of the writer's room. Alright. Maya setters won't rule her own issues. Setters is better. Oh, these are like another collectible. Things regarding the election. And I've got a lot of upgrade parts, actually. I can't afford that, but I can get magazine increased by 50. Increased magazine size.
Saga had lost count of how many shots she'd fired, but she was sure it must have been more than she had in her magazine. And yet, she'd not run out of ammo. As if the magazine had grown to fit more bullets. She fired again.
Okay, yeah. I appreciate that as an attempt to explain it. It's like when you watch a fucking movie, he's like, did he just fire 10 times from a 6-chamber revolver? It's like, shut up, who cares? Alright, so we've got our new thing here.
Wake just gave us a lot of information. But this clicker seems like a good place to start. If we find that, then we find...
And as I mentioned before, the game does not pause when we're inside this room, so like enemies could attack us. But it also means that other characters are literally just standing around as she just daydreams.
If the cult has the clicker, does that make them Scratch's followers? How are you so certain they even have the clicker?
They could be working for Scratch. I don't remember. It's all confused.
Alan, if I'm gonna act on this information, you need to be honest with me.
Yeah, of course.
Is he confused? Or is he hiding something?
Alright, time to do the FBI's favorite thing. Profiling.
Wake said the cult
says the reader. The next chapter, the next chapter, the next chapter. Keep the pages safe, the dark shining of the words.
Wake is hiding pages. That's how he knows the cult has the clicker. Wake has a double. Mr. Scratch. Where is he now?
A cloud of wrath wears my face. The dark place in your place. Scratching out my body of work.
Scratch is here. In Washington. He's hunting Wake. Scratch looks just like Wake. Why?
Don't wake up the dreamer if your life is a dream. I swam to the shore, but the water is rising.
Wake and Scratch are clearly connected. Maybe Scratch got out because Wake did. Or vice versa.
Yeah, so I think they're retconning, like, the American Nightmare thing, because in that, it's like, Scratch took his place in the real world and had been wreaking havoc for years. And Alan couldn't do anything about it. Alan, you're hiding shit.
Mr. Wake, I know you have more pages of the manuscript on you.
You don't understand how vital these pages are. They're the only way I can know what's coming.
You're not the only one trying to solve this. This is our job.
Okay. Here. Now, this is all I have. Be careful with them. Inside the trailer, at the outskirts of Watery, Saga had seen Wake's fabled clicker for the first time, in the hands of the Cult of the Tree. A cultist stared at her. She drew her weapon.
Yeah, so now that we have more manuscript pages, we get plot spoilers. Casey, you got anything to add to this? Alan? No? Alright, so let's go to the case board. So we know that the clicker is here. Right, a trailer near Watery, huh? Good place to start. And we know that it's an area controlled by the cult.
The tree has the clicker Wake told me about. They're a part of all this.
Alright, is there anything else I can cross off? Let's see. Cult of the Tree. Now, Alan says that they could be followers of Scratch, so does that count as a goal? Psychology? No. It's probably under cult goals. Oh, wait, no. It's who is involved. No? Really? Okay. There we go. Alright, the cult is working with or for someone. Why work for Scratch? What does the cult get out of it? Alright, so that's everything for us. It says it's not. It says I'm missing something, but I don't see a marker on any of these, so I think they're actually done. Oh, here we go.
The pages we've been finding are from a horror story called Return, written by Alan Wake. And the contents of this book are coming true. Why couldn't it have been a romance?
Alan Wake 3, it's now a sports anime. I'm just going to quickly lay all these down so we can move on. Flashlight seems to weaken the Taken.
Nope.
Alright, what does this one say? Wake was trapped in the Dark Place for 13 years. That would be under Dark Place. Fiction comes into contact with the Dark Place as its power to change reality. How to stop the story. If we don't stop at scratch, we'll use the story to permanently change reality. Get the clicker before scratch.
Think.
Let's see. I guess this would be under Dark Presence. Nope. There we are. The reality-changing influence of the Dark Place flows like water, so I guess that would be under here.
The dark place makes writing come true, taking something real and nudging it. They're treating people's lives like toys. Can Wake be trusted with that kind of power? Can anyone?
Alright, do I have anything else I can use? What's this one? Some other strange reality. The Dark Place merged with ours. This place is called the Dark Place.
Yes. The dark place. A dimension that's home to monsters. Huh. Wild stuff.
And of course there's the overlap, which is all the places where the two merge together and you start seeing monsters in the real world. And you start seeing stuff from the real world in the Dark Place. Bedtime stories, folklore, urban legends connected to a specific place. These were sites where the overlap came to be. The overlap needs to... Okay, yep, drop that now. The stronger the connection between the belief and the emotional response, the better. Where do I put that?
That's it.
There we go. Oh, I can't use... Okay, so I guess I don't have enough clues to finish this board off. So we can stop there.
It's all on the page. The clicker, the cult. Okay, I'll head to Watery and find this trailer. Casey, you stay here and keep an eye on Mr. Wake.
Got it.
No, you need me there.
No dice, pal. This is an FBI investigation, and I don't see a badge on that flannel.
From now on, you can switch between Alan and Saga's stories via the bucket in the janitor's break room. Feel free to play in whatever order you choose. Okay. So that's... Things get a little weird from here. There's now, like... There's now an E and a B plot happening simultaneously. And I have a lot of inventory. So here, you can see I've got all these different charms now, because I did that optional gameplay area. Saves you from death, but shatters in the process, Dark Souls style. I have a lot of flares. Let me move this. Propane tank, that's like a handheld grenade, but you have to shoot it to detonate. Let me move this over here. I wish there was like a button dedicated to moving stuff instead of having to go into the drop down menu. Let's see, that's... I mean, I'm going to put this away in storage because I'm not going to need it anytime soon. Yeah, I guess it did. Let's do a manual save. Well, it's been a while since we played a Saga, so we'll stick with her for now.
You wrote these pages in the dark place.